Get the iPad set up. We're just going to wait here to get some people in. I just want to do a quick update today on the Nancy Guthrie case in case you're watching this on the replay. Hey, kitty. Yeah, you've already got everything. Come here, baby. That's the cat screaming in the background. She's been fed. Her litter box is clean. Oh, hold on, Kellyanne. I got to put her in a timeout. Hey, thanks for waiting. I played with her. I fed her. Cleaned her box, did everything, but she's still screaming. I think she needs to, sometimes when she needs to use the litter box, she'll cry for a bit and then she'll go and everything will be fine. So, hi, Boston Bill. Oh, she's gorgeous. Hi, Donna. The bunny, she's eating hay right now. And she's not happy that she just got put in the bedroom. She was harassing the bunny earlier and then acting like she needed to eat. And I gave her more wet food even though she had already ate. And then as soon as I turned on live, I hit that live tab. She just started screaming. I'm feeling okay, Boston Bill. How are you? I don't know if you guys can hear that. She's in the bedroom, which isn't it's a few yards away from me, and she's just screaming. I had to close the window too and turn on the AC. It's like 85 degrees or 86 or something like that right now in LA. It's like it's baking. I have a lot to update today, but I'll go through the list quite quickly. Just give it a few to let some people come in. I hope you're digging out of the snow, Boston Bill. 12 degrees. Oh my God. That'd be the end of the world if that happened in LA because our places are built like with, chicken wire and stucco. And none of the doors in LA seal because of all the earthquakes. So they're all like crooked and they don't seal. And in the winter, the cold air comes in, and in the summer, the hot air comes in. Oh, geez. Yeah, I saw my birth date was like trying to dig out. Yeah, I may have gone on a little too early, but there's just so much happening today on this case. And I've been, watching different YouTube channels on it and listening to different news updates. There's a lot that's happened in the last couple of days, just since I went on the air yesterday. 44 in Illinois. Ugh. Another 2 feet in Boston. Oh, geez. Yeah, we've gone into temporary summer mode. So I'm going to be home tomorrow afternoon. I got some repairs coming. Got some plumbing issues and some caulking issues, a smoke alarm issue. I'm having all that taken care of tomorrow. Now that it's nice and warm outside. Let's get it done. 4 feet in 2 weeks. Oh my God. I've never seen that kind of snow in my life. Like ever. Oh, in Illinois? News said 60 tomorrow, then back to snow. Oh, geez. No, thank you. I'm sorry. It's overkill. Yeah, I'm sure you're sick of it by now. I think it's been warmer in like Alaska lately than it has on the East Coast. Like they're already starting to warm up and you guys are just getting colder. This crazy climate change. Well, 6 people. Let's get it going. I just want the people to come in so I don't have to repeat everything. Because then, I'll just waste my voice. I had to take a bone pill yesterday. I take a bone pill like once a week. And it kind of reminds me of when I was on chemo because the second day it really feels kind of like yucky. And today's the second day, and I'm like, why am I not feeling so great? And then I was like, oh, I took the bone pill yesterday. Like, ugh. So just been drinking a lot of fluids today. Oh, thank you, Bill. Hey, Jane. Welcome in. A lot has happened since I went on the air yesterday. And first, let me back up a bit. I went on the air Monday and had an audio issue. And so now I've learned how to turn off my alarms and put on Do Not Disturb. Then Tuesday was my PI anniversary, so I didn't do a video. Yesterday I did a video and lots of people came in, which was surprising for a Wednesday afternoon because I went on a little early like I did today. But there was a YouTube issue where people were typing things into the chat and they weren't showing up on my end. And apparently it wasn't me, it was a YouTube issue. And I kept saying, hey, can you guys hear me? Can you see me? I want to ask some questions. And nobody was like responding. And then one of my mods sent me an email like, hey, April, YouTube's having an issue right now. And I was just like, I'm going to try this one more time and, 3 strikes and you're out. 11 people. Hey, great. So let's just go over the latest quickly and then I'll just throw it over to the chat. Yeah, I didn't see anybody, just a few, and then it fell out. But okay, Sheriff Bananos, as they're calling him, Chris Nanos to be respectful. He once again has made an announcement that the family is clear, including the siblings of Nancy Guthrie, well, her children, and the siblings to one another, and the in-laws. But everybody's clear. He said that before, but people didn't really take it seriously. Now he's like, no, really, they're clear, but yet, if you contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and I'm surprised they're giving this out publicly, but they still have Annie and Tommaso's car, and they're saying that it's official evidence as part of an active investigation. So everybody's clear, but they won't give up the car because it's evidence in an active investigation. If they're really clear, just give them back their damn car. If Carlos Palazuelos is clear, give him his cell phone so he can go back to work doing deliveries. Still speaks volumes to me. The family's clear. The in-laws are clear. Siblings are clear. But we can't give the car back right now. I don't know who's holding custody of the car. Is it? I thought it was the FBI, but now they're saying it's in sheriff's custody. Which is it? Does anybody know? Vicky. Hello. Boo-boo. Yeah, I've heard that they're getting ready to turn the house back to the family. In fact, the FBI was there yesterday along with the Pima County Prosecutor's Office. I find that very interesting that the prosecutor was out there. It's almost like maybe they know something or they have something that they haven't announced to the public yet. The prosecutor was out there and they said they were doing like a final walkthrough. It almost sounds like a real estate transaction. Right before you sign on a house, you have to do a final walkthrough. But they're doing a final walkthrough, the FBI, until they turn the house back over to the family. And during all this chaos yesterday, a black SUV showed up and parked in the garage, but nobody could see who was in it. I don't know whatever happened to that black SUV. And today a white SUV showed up. They said it was a lady, but then another white, like a Jeep. They said it was a Wagoneer. Then they said it was a Grand Cherokee. Who knows? I didn't see it, but apparently a white Jeep came and parked and left, and there was a man. Nobody was really sure who it is. There was a guess that it was the Guthrie son, Cameron, but I don't think it was. There's a lot of people since yesterday coming and going from the house, even though the house has the no trespassing sign. So things are going on with the house. There's like some kind of internet people there today. There's a sprinkler repairman or a gardener, landscaper. fixing a sprinkler that's been shooting water in the air for weeks. That guy came today. Somebody doing some internet work in the house. Lots of stuff going on. The house is supposedly getting ready to be turned over. Boo Boo says property, insurance policy, savings account. Yeah, I'd still like to know more about that, but I don't think they're going to talk about that with the public. No, I am not a man. And I'm going to put this user in a timeout. So bye-bye. Okay. I've been everything from gorgeous to ugly to a man. No, I'm a lady. Maybe because I'm missing a left boob, which would show on the screen, right? Yeah. If I look crooked, there's a reason for that. Yeah, the cancer thing is very real. Go check out the GoFundMe, and then you'll know that I'm really a girl, and it's a cancer situation. Anyway, I won't let that get to me. I'm not blocking anybody. I just sometimes have to put people in timeout. Thank you for the engagement, though. It helps the algorithm, brings more people in. Did I ever hear about the old man from Australia? No, I did not. Let me know, Boo Boo, if this is related to the Nancy Guthrie case. So basically, the house is getting ready to be turned over to the family, supposedly. Yeah, April does sound like a man's name, doesn't it? It doesn't bother me at all. The more people that engage, the better it is for me. Now, if I was monetized, then it would really help me. So I've heard a rumor today, and I've actually heard it from a reliable source, my old buddy, Perez Hilton. His site is claiming today, and I don't know where he's getting his information, but and a lot of times the stories are being written by his sister Barbara, because she has worked for him for years. She basically runs the operation. But they're reporting officially on Perez Hilton's site that Savannah Guthrie is getting ready to return to New York as possibly as soon as this weekend, and they're claiming that her husband, who I thought was back in Arizona because he came back from Florida, they're saying that her husband and kids are already in New York and that she could be going back as soon as this weekend, and that she does have plans in the future at an undetermined date to go back to the Today Show. Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing, but it's just more of a reminder that this case could go on forever and ever, and nobody's ever going to know, and it's never going to be resolved, and there's never going to be closure. I hope not. Oh, hey, Humble. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well, Humble. And I support Perez. A lot of people don't like him. He's a much different man than he was years before, when he was being, kind of not a good guy on online. But he's okay now, and he's raised 3 beautiful children, and he's pretty reliable source. And he didn't give this information to me. It's out on his website today. You can check that out. That Savannah may be returning to New York very, very soon. Don't know if it's true. Where he gets his information from, I don't know. Now, we were talking about vehicles earlier at the house. Apparently, there's a lot of information about vehicles. Somebody at the end of the block, a couple miles away, had a Ring camera or a Nest camera or some type of surveillance cam that's now, the video has been turned over to the police. And it was the night or morning of February 1st, and they've got a bunch of vehicles speeding through the neighborhood. But you can't really tell on the video what they are. But there's video of vehicles, and people are making a big deal about this video, but you just see like taillights in the dark. You can't really see anything. Can't hang at work. Yeah, I understand. Oh, you got monetized. Congratulations, the Humble Stacker. Oh, that's so great. I'll come over as soon as I can and watch your night show. Everybody give a thumbs up to the Humble Stacker. Congrats to him. That's awesome. That's just awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's a big accomplishment. You should do like a big online party about that, have a big video about it, how long it took you and how you did it, and you did it organically. So good for you. One of the good guys has been rewarded. If you guys aren't following my friend Todd, go follow the Humble Stacker. So what were we talking about here? Okay, the rumor that Savannah's going back to New York to join her husband and her children, and that eventually at some point, apparently she does intend to return to the Today Show. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I went down the psychic rabbit hole a couple times. And one of the last spirit box readings I saw, which by the way I don't believe in, but the last thing that the spirit, which was supposedly Nancy, said is she said, "Tell them to stop." And everybody took that as, like, tell them to stop looking for me. Now, I don't really believe in that, but it was weird. I thought about that when I heard about Savannah today from Perez that, tell them to stop. And it looks like, life may be getting back to normal. But life is going to have to go on. Even the police, they have changed the parking in the neighborhood and people are having to walk or Uber in. Like they're trying to get the house back to normal and repairs made. The landscaper came today with the sprinkler repair. The internet people came. There's been different people going in and out of the garage. Things seem to be getting, a lot of activity is happening. I wouldn't say back to normal, but life does have to go on. Donna says, I love to watch Humble. Yeah, me too. He's very knowledgeable in silver stacking and a good guy. I know him from the gold community. If the rest of you that are watching are not in the gold community, that's how I know Humble. And I'm sure there could be other people in here right now that are also like silver stackers or gold stackers or prospectors. So congrats to him. He really deserves it. He's worked very hard for that. He's been going live every night for a long time. The gold community, Anthony, is a group of people on the internet where we're either prospectors or we're mailbox miners. And due to my disability, I can't go out and prospect and I can't go metal detecting at the beach anymore. I haven't for years, many years, but I do the mailbox mining now occasionally when, I have a little extra funds that come in and I can afford to buy a bag of dirt. And it's actually paid off because I've got quite a bit of raw gold accumulated from the mailbox mining. But I really got so jealous of the people that can actually go out and like get a bucket of dirt and bring it back home and, get it down to concentrates and, find the gold like raw, like in the wild. That's so cool. The only gold I found in the wild has been like gold jewelry at the beach. I have a friend whose husband used to do that for years, and he said, you'll always find more gold at the beach than you ever will in prospecting. And I think he's right about that because I've been watching you guys prospect in the gold community, and it's very hard to get teeny, teeny little pieces. Hey, Hearts, how are you? Just going over some of the most recent information on the Nancy Guthrie case. Apparently, the house is getting ready to be turned back to the family. However, Annie Tommaso's car, at least as of yesterday, is still in police custody because it's evidence in an active criminal investigation. But hey, they're clear. Just saying. And then I mentioned that there's a rumor that Savannah may be actually leaving by the weekend to go back to New York to see her husband and children. I wasn't aware that her husband had left again. Oh, Donna says, I gave my family pay dirt for Christmas last year. They all love them. Oh, wow. Yeah, most of my family's gone, so you're very fortunate to have family to give that to. Now there's another story, and I don't know how accurate it is, but supposedly the night that she disappeared, or the middle of the night when she, because it happened either, like Saturday night, but more likely Sunday morning the 1st, but while it was still dark, like in the middle of the night when all this crime was occurring, and nobody was aware of it at that time, supposedly someone a few miles away called 911 and said there was a dark gray or a blue Chevy Malibu. They didn't say the year, but it was definitely, they believed, a dark gray or blue Chevy Malibu that was driving in the area, and they claimed that there was a woman wearing black with the window rolled down. And that makes it suspicious to me, but supposedly the window was down and the woman was hanging out of the car screaming. We don't know if this has anything to do with the case. Hart says, I love gold pater or pater any time of the day. Exactly. So the Chevy Malibu, supposedly, it didn't have any plates. I don't know why. Unless it was a bad guy doing something and they took the plates off the car. But it was just, they didn't even identify the driver. Just a Chevy Malibu was being driven with a woman hanging out the window. It seems suspect to me. Um, yeah. And now, since that information came out, this neighborhood video came out, like a Ring doorbell video or something, that somebody's that wasn't turned over to the police before. That's, because it's a couple miles away or something from her area, but it shows a bunch of cars like in the middle of the night, like driving down the street. But it's like it's dark and they're going quick, and it's the middle of the night, like 2 or 3 in the morning. So people are seeing that video going, "What the hell is this? I can't see anything." Even with the full moon that night, or almost full, you can't really see anything. So it is what it is. And I have to make this short today, but feel free to put some comments into the chat, ask me any questions, give me a thumbs up if you haven't already done so. I'm kind of just feeling crappy today because I had to take my bone pill yesterday. And I'm still recovering from that heart procedure in January. And they say for the next like 3 to 6 months that, I could have good days and bad days. So some days I just feel a little like, ooh, I'm a little winded, or I'm a little weak, or so if I don't make this long, just, give me some slack. Know that I'm trying my hardest to keep up with this. I'm sure there'll be more to announce by the end of today. Maybe I can come back on later today. I don't know. I want to keep this out in the news, but life will go on. And oh, thank you, Donna. I appreciate you coming in. I would be happy for Savannah, when she's able to return to her life, but I would hope that they would have some closure before all that happens. But I'm sure they can't stay out in Arizona forever. I mean, she's got 2 young children and a husband and a job, and he's got a job, and their home is in New York, and this is happening in Arizona, and you know, um, oh, and then there's another thing that came out today. Apparently, the day after this happened, Sheriff Chris Nanos, his brother, reportedly passed away. I don't know how or where, but he lost a brother like right when all this case was blowing up. So that's a little sad. Wow, 23 people. Give me a thumbs up. 12 thumbs up, 23 watching. Yeah, I'm just like today, I'm just feeling kind of crappy. And I was happy to hear that, Savannah will be getting back to her family and getting back to her life soon in New York. But at the same time, it's kind of sad, like we still don't know yet. What do you think? Do you think this is going to be resolved anytime soon? Put a yes or a thumbs up, or put a no or a thumbs down in the chat. Like, do you think the Nancy Guthrie case will be resolved soon? I want to hear from you. Hopefully the chat is working today. Heart says no. I'm starting to feel that way too. Donna McCoy, no. Kellyanne Sullivan says no. Yeah, I feel the same way, Hearts. It's very sad. It's very sad. I'm going to keep hydrating here. Vicky Enrico, my heart goes out to her. She's such a good person. Yes, she is. I assume you're talking about Savannah. Yeah, she does a lot to help crime victims, and now she's a victim of a horrible crime with the loss of her mother. Just awful. Life is short, everybody. Enjoy every day. And don't take your friends or your family or whoever you're close to for granted. because you never know when you're going to, not see them again. Let's just, join in prayer and send good vibes. They could still use the prayers. I know this is not looking good, but I still pray for them daily. And I'm not an overly religious person. And I would certainly not push religion here on my channel, but as a cancer survivor thus far, I do believe in the power of prayer. I think it helps. And Hearts of Gold says that is absolutely correct. Make new friends. Some is silver, some is gold. Yeah. Monica, I believe they know a strong suspect for the DA's office to come out yesterday. They are just finishing up, probably to present. I was thinking the same thing. That the DA came out and did a tour of the property. I had not heard that before until yesterday. I was like, whoa. And the FBI was there too. There's a lot of activity at that house today. And even though the family has been cleared twice by nanos, they still don't have custody of the car. It's not been returned to them. Oh, I didn't know that, Kellyanne. Well, welcome to my club. Being a cancer survivor is a good club to be in. Monica says, yes, the power of prayer. Absolutely. And they're not letting the press park in the neighborhood anymore. They're trying to get the neighborhood back to normal, so all the press people are having to walk in. And apparently it's really hot there today, which I can imagine because it's baking here in Los Angeles. Oh, I'm sorry, Hearts. My mom is going into hospice this week. Oh, well, I hope that for however much time she has left, that they make her comfortable. That's the most important thing. I want her to be comfortable before. Yes, you're welcome. Death is not the end. Death is just leaving the body behind and the spirit moving forward to a better place. I hope she's not in pain. And we'll all be there someday. Hopefully much later than sooner, but we'll all be there someday. Amen. Yes, amen. Yes, I am sorry, Hearts. That's a tough one. My mom went through that while I was in the hospital with my heart thing. And I wasn't well enough to be able to get in the car and drive to Las Vegas to say goodbye to her. I couldn't even talk to her on the phone. She was too sick. And it was really rough because at the time my sister thought oh my God, Mom's going to die and April's going to die at the same time. And she went into AFib and then they said she had COVID and they couldn't figure out why because she never goes anywhere. Nobody else had COVID and then the whole family got it. And it was just a crap show. And she didn't, pass right away. And the day they took her out of the hospital to transfer her to hospice, she died. It was it's awful. But I'm comfortable knowing that she had a long, healthy life, way more healthy than I've had. I'll never live to be the age my mom lived. She lived to be 84. I would take that any day as long as I'm healthy. Hart says, yeah, the situation is rough. She's in Mass where they had the big storm and no one can get in. Oh, yeah. Do you know that the suspect that they questioned still haven't received his cell phone? As far as I know, no, Carlos has not. If you're talking about Carlos Palazuelos of Rio Rico, he has not received his phone. And I heard that his driver's license was in that cell phone case and that he doesn't have that either. Hi, Baby J. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm just recapping really quickly today the latest on the Nancy Guthrie case as far as the sheriff is supposedly getting ready to turn the house over to the family. The FBI and the prosecutor was there yesterday doing what they call a final walkthrough of the property. Like I said, it sounds like a real estate transaction. And I'm just joking about that. I mean, apparently they're getting ready to turn it over to the family. And according to PerezHilton.com, Savannah may be returning to New York as soon as this weekend. I don't know what its source is, but His horses are usually pretty reliable, that she may be returning to her family. Donna says, my mom passed when she was 39, she just turned a week before cancer in the brain. I was a senior. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's scary for me because, breast cancer most likely spreads. If it metastasizes, it's usually the liver, the lungs, the bone, or the brain. And that's it. What was with the backpack? I don't know. The backpack at the scene of the crime? Or the backpack that was found in one of the tunnels? That was probably just belonged to some homeless person. Apparently there are a lot of tunnels. I don't know, maybe they don't have a big drainage system like LA has with the LA River with the concrete basins. Like thousands of miles of ditches here that are concrete. But they have these tunnels where the water goes through. I'm not really sure how they manage the water in Tucson. I know in the desert when it rains it floods because the ground is so hard with the rock and the dirt. Well, it's not really dirt, it's like sand and rock, and it's just so hard that when it rains so fast, all the water comes off the mountains. It just floods like really easy in the desert. Oh, the backpack press found a couple of days ago. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. I know the Pima County Sheriff's came and took it away, put it into evidence. They say that suspect on the camera had been there before. Yes, I think so. You can tell by the moonlighting that it was a different day. But I think it's the same guy. They say it could be a different guy, but I think it's the same fellow. Possibly wearing different shoes without his backpack and his gun in his holster. My bunny just did a little noise. It was like, was that a sneeze? What was that? Yeah, we don't know. And then I heard something today, and I don't even remember where I saw this, somewhere on the internet, where there may be two suspects and they think one may be dead already. Like, where the hell is that coming from? Who's dead? Hey, 26 people, 16 thumbs up. Keep going. Keep going with my thumbs up. Not only did somebody open that door for him, possibly. Vicky Enrico says, my mom was 93 and had a brain aneurysm. She lived a long, happy life and was healthier than me, and I'm 64. You know what? My mom at 84 was way healthier than me the day she died and most of her life. I think I'd rather live a longer life and, have more long, healthier periods like my mom. Tracy Green says he tried to hide his body type. He had something on front on him and the backpack. Yeah, he had a gun and a holster. And the holster, by the way, did not fit the gun. And either the police or the FBI, they've been to the gun stores in Tucson with a list of 40 suspects. Where'd they get those 40 names? And saying, do you recognize any of these names? Do you have any of these names in your records? And it was reported that the search was unfruitful, which I guess means they didn't find like a match. Oh, you're watching this case in the David case. Yeah, that happened here in LA. I don't know a whole lot about that because I was going through all this health stuff where they found the body in the Tesla. Yeah, that's a weird one. I believe that NG is still in that area. I'd like to think so too. Oh, no problem, Kelly. I'm going to make it short today. You can go back on the replay. Feeling kind of crappy today because I took my bone pill yesterday, so I'm just like, ugh. And remember, my heart is still healing too from that surgery. So, I have my good days and my bad days. Vicky says, I keep calling Sheriff Nanos Barney Fife. Yeah, I think so sometimes. Especially releasing the crime scene so soon and stopping the search and rescue mission so soon. He's the target, says Baby J. Where are you coming in from, Baby J? Yeah, they just said today that his brother passed the day after all this happened, so Oh boy. Vicky says, ha ha. Exactly. I know his eyes kind of look like the guy in the mask, didn't it? I mean, I know it's not the sheriff, but they kind of had similar eyes because his eyes are like all bloodshot looking, and the guy in the mask, he was either toasted or his eyes were bloodshot. Baby J says, whose brother? It was Sheriff Nanos's brother. Apparently died the day after all this happened. So he was going through a lot of personal crap. He had a lot on his plate. Oh, you're in Seattle. Well, welcome, Seattle. Where's everybody coming in from? Type your city in the chat. I'm in Los Angeles, California, in the Valley. Yeah, I'm a Valley girl, I know. Listen to that song by Moon Unit Zappa, Valley Girl. That was me in the 80s. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The home of the Roll Tide. Lisbon, Maine. Wow, that's way out there. My parents spent a lot of time in Maine when they lived in Northeast Canada. Quincy, Massachusetts. So it's cold where Kellyanne is. I got the air conditioners running right now. I had to shut all the windows to turn on the AC because it's so hot in LA today. I have some close friends and they went to the zoo today and they're sitting in the shade right now because it's too hot to walk around. And they one of them has a new baby, so they're making sure that they're sitting in the shade. Oh, thank you. I wish it was original, like a vintage, but it's just a reprint. I still like it though. Send you some heat. I wish I could. I think next week it's gonna get back to normal. But tomorrow it's supposed to be like in the 90s maybe. Ugh. And they were saying today when it was only like 84 or 85, they were like, it feels like 90 though. Hey, Jason E. Minor. Welcome in. Oh, the AC just went off, so I guess it cooled down. I just cooled it down like 1 degree. I had to switch the mode from heat to cool because it was so like oh, the heat's still on. Like I gotta switch that to the cool mode. Monica says, wow. Hey, Steven Stark, how you doing, sir? Hey, Steven, I got a request today on Facebook. Just little, just take care of a little business here, little paperwork while we're here. I got a request, like you're trying to friend me, and we were already friends, so I didn't click it because I wondered if your account has been hacked. Is that a possibility, Steven Stark? Were you hacked today on Facebook? Because I got a new friend request. Whenever I get a new friend request from somebody that I'm already friends with on Facebook, it makes me a little sus that maybe you got hacked. Were you hacked, Steven Stark, today on Facebook? Or did you actually send me a second request? Oh, you had to redo it? So you did send me that. You did send me that request? As long as I know it's you, I'll accept that friend request. Okay. I figured I'd see you some day, like on a live, and I'd ask you, like, are you sending out requests? Because a lot of times people are like, oh, that's not me. Don't click that. I've been hacked. And of course, I'm happy to like accept friends, and then but when I've already got that person listed on my friends list, it's like, uh-oh, is this for real, or is this a hack? Is this a phishing expedition? Okay, Vicky says, what about the church lady in on it with Tommaso? She called the family really fast to tell them that Nancy wasn't at church. I mean, Nancy could have not been feeling good. You would call Nancy. Well, it turns out that the church, she didn't actually go to that church anymore. The one that they mentioned, that was the name of the church. I can't remember the name right now, but she hadn't been there since COVID, and they were doing online service, and then even after COVID, she continued online. But a few years ago, when she was visiting Savannah in New York, Savannah had introduced her to a church in Manhattan, and apparently they have online services. And she goes to a friend's house in Tucson, with a bunch of friends. They all meet every Sunday morning at the friend's house, and they watch the Manhattan service together online. And so that's what she actually missed. It's not that she didn't go to church, but she didn't go to the friend's house to go to the live stream that's streamed from the church in Manhattan that Savannah introduced her to. Yeah, they had all that information wrong. But the latest today, Kelly, is that the house is getting ready to be turned over to the cops. And my old buddy Perez Hilton, his website, perezhilton.com, says that Savannah may be traveling back to New York as soon as this weekend to rejoin her family, meaning her husband and her children. But I don't know where that information, where he got it from, or possibly his sister Barbara, who runs his websites. Hey, Jamie James, hello back. Vicky Enrico says, well, still, you wouldn't call the family, would you? Well, I think because, the mom didn't show up at the friend's house and she was supposed to, and they couldn't reach her. That's why they called the family to go over to the house to, like, check on her, to do a welfare check. What were the plans for Nancy's home? Well, apparently the police and the FBI are getting ready to release the house back to the family. And there was a search there yesterday, what was called a final walkthrough by the FBI, but the county prosecutor was also there, which I find this very interesting, and so did one of my viewers who's in here today, that why was the prosecutor out there taking a look? Do they possibly have a targeted main suspect now? Somebody like maybe that we don't know about yet. Is an arrest imminent? And that's why they were doing that final walkthrough before they turned the house over to the family. I don't know as far as the timeline, but they're like any day, and the people since yesterday have been coming and going and parking in the garage, so it may have already been released. Kelly says, sad. Back to the police means no more progress if there was any so far. Yeah. No, to the family, yeah. Okay. Hearts of Gold says, okay, I gotta go moderate duty calling, take care, get some rest. Thank you, Hearts. Jamie James, I agree. Whoever did it needs to turn himself in. Well, there was a rumor today that there's 2 suspects and one is already dead. Like, where is this coming from? I saw that online earlier that they think they know, and that one's already like. Is that? But there's so many false websites and false Facebook pages and just garbage out there, and AI photos of the suspects taking her off the front porch, and she's standing there like she wasn't standing when she was taken out of her house. Monica, I think they have a suspect there just keeping tight lip. Possible. That's very possible with the prosecutor there yesterday. Jamie James, yep, should just stay open investigation. Monica says, or suspect or suspects. What source? What source for what, Jamie James? Kelly and Sullivan, I don't think they are telling us everything. Absolutely. And I think the family, meaning Savannah and her siblings, I think they know a lot more than what's coming out. And the rumors have even, here's where things have gotten really crazy. The rumors have gone so far off the deep end now that some people are suggesting that she's already been found alive and that Savannah's taking her with her when she goes to New York. And I don't believe that one. I don't believe that at all. I think this woman is deceased. I hope I'm wrong. That like, oh, they've already found her and she's with Savannah and that she's been with her the whole time and she's taken her back, and that's just BS. Yes, John, I saw that. There's a video on the day and time Nancy went missing. One of the neighbors had of 3 cars. Yes, that's true, John. That's just been released today. But apparently that video is from like a couple of miles away. So I'm not really sure about that, but I have seen the video and it's in black and white. Kelly Ray, wonder how long she would need to be gone before ruled as death. That's a good question, because usually in most states it's 7 years, But when those people disappeared in Alaska, I think it was October 71 or October 72, it was one of the biggest disappearances ever in the history of our country. They disappeared end of October 71, 72, and I think it was 71. I was either 6 or 7. That shows my age, but yeah, it was that long ago. And they were declared dead by the end of December of that same year, even though they never found the plane and they never found the people. So I guess it just depends. That's a very good question, Kelly. Can anybody let me know that? Because even though they got homicide investigators, they don't have any proof yet that there's been a homicide. And usually, like in LA, if it's just a missing persons case, it closes within a year. But if it's a homicide and they have evidence of a homicide, it can stay open until the case is solved. But every jurisdiction has every state has a different set of laws on that. But I was shocked that in Alaska, because I've been studying that case a lot. And I would really love to do a video series on that, but it goes too deep, and I just can't even say who might be involved in that, and I don't think it would be safe for me to go on and talk about that case in Alaska with that missing congressman. But they were all declared dead very quickly, within just a couple of months. Vicky, I heard they found her wrapped up in a river. BS. Yeah, that's not true. Unless it just happened since I went on the air. Yeah, somebody was telling me that a few videos ago, like, oh, they found her, they got a body today. Like, don't believe those websites. If it's not from a mainstream media or somebody with a reliable information, just don't even believe that. Jeff Crumpler, welcome. Look overseas. Britain has arrested 3 of their own, one of which has been sentenced to chemically castration publicly. Wow. John H., 2 miles. 2 miles for what? Where the video was taken. Yeah, okay, yeah, it was 2 miles away. But is her road like 2 miles long, her street? I don't think so. Like, what is the significance of that street 2 miles away? Does it connect to her street? Oh, Jamie, there's a couple of people from Tucson that have gone missing and never been found. Yeah, that happens everywhere, Jamie, sadly. Especially in big cities like where I live, or specifically the place where you are most likely to go missing and never be found is the state of Alaska. And apparently it's the only state in the country where the missing persons cases stay open forever until the person is found either living or dead. And usually most states, like here in LA, LAPD will only keep your case open for a year, and then it's kaput unless you're a homicide victim. Kellyanne, remember the Adam Walsh case, the boy that disappeared, and then they just think they recently found out who's the person? Yes. Kelly Ray, you need to be working on your next case to review with us. Even older case, Natalie Holloway. Well, she's passed away, Natalie Holloway. We just don't know where her body is. JonBenet Ramsey, I know too much about that. And I could get sued for naming who I think is all involved in that. Eileen, I don't know who that is. Samuel Little. Oh, I don't know the last 2, Kelly. You'll have to let me know. I'll look those up. Samuel Little. You'll have to text me those names later. I can look them up, but I've never heard of Samuel Little or Aileen Wernos, is it? Yeah, Natalie Holloway, the guy that killed her, allegedly killed her, he's already serving time in a Peruvian prison for the murder of another woman who I believe her name was Stephanie. Yeah, he's just a piece of garbage, that suspect. But it's never been proven that he killed Natalie, but I think he probably did. And somebody who I will not name publicly, I think, helped him get rid of the body. She's dead. It's just a matter of them never being able to find the body. And JonBenet Ramsey, that's still a hot issue right now. 30 years later, it's still a hot case. So I can't really go publicly and say what I'm 95% sure what happened that night. So I'm sorry, Kelly. I have to be careful what I say here. I don't want to accuse anybody wrongly. I'm not, nobody here is a suspect on my channel. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Is she in the house under the floorboards? I sure hope not, Deborah. I think they would have been able to discover her by then, and it wouldn't add up like why the blood is dropped outside. But the blood drops also, the droplets stopped before they got to the street or the driveway. Arizona roads are long. It was the same road. Okay, John. Thanks for letting me know. I still need to research that more. Have you heard the story, John, about the Chevy Malibu that was apparently somebody called it in like the morning of February 1st in the middle of the night, where somebody reported a dark gray or a blue Chevy Malibu and a woman passenger hanging out the window screaming, dressed in black? How was she able to roll down the window if she was dead or unconscious or tied up? And the Chevy Malibu didn't have any plates. Is she in the house under the floorboards? Okay, we read that. Natalie Holloway, did anyone watch the movie? I did not see the movie, Kellyanne. And John said no. To what question was that? I'm sorry. Deborah Mortimer. Could it be a hoax? I don't think so. There's too many law enforcement involved. That would be a crime if this was a hoax. Christie's. Deborah Mortimer. No, cadaver dog would have detected her. I would think so, but I don't know. I haven't seen any cadaver dogs on the property. Kelly says she saw the movie. Is that the one about Natalie Holloway? John H. says the blue Chevy. Jamie James, I gotta run. Talk to you later, all. Well, thanks for coming, Jamie. Appreciate you always. And welcome in, Deborah. I haven't seen you before, I don't think. Where are you coming in from, Deborah Mortimer? Kelly Ray says Samuel Little killed 93 women. Oh my God. The fascinating thing is, while he was in prison as an old man, he was able to draw about 60 of them from memory, and they look just like the people he murdered. Oh my God. Was that the guy that was killing like the prostitutes? I hate to say there's so many serial killers that you can't keep them all straight. I'll have to look that one up. Oh, okay. Damn. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that, the case in Alaska with the missing congressman. And then, what was the guy's name? He was Cokie Roberts' father, the investigative journalist. Her father was a really well-known Democratic politician. And he was like Speaker of the House or something way up there. He was like fourth in line to be president because there's the president, the vice president, the Speaker of the House, and then I think the Senate Majority Leader. He was one of those, and he died in that plane crash with the congressman from Alaska, along with his aide and the pilot, and it's never been solved. And there's a guy that does a podcast where he's an investigative reporter, and he's been working on it for years. And I mean, there's even like possible mob connections in that case, and that family is still alive, and they're still very prominent politicians in Alaska. It's crazy. And those guys were declared dead like that within weeks. Do you believe the family is hiding where she is? I think the family knows more than they're saying, but I don't think they know. I think they know more than what we know, but do they know where she is? I doubt it. But this case is so weird. Like, I can't really say. Kelly Ray. Most serial killers are white. True. He was the most prolific serial killer who was African American. Oh, okay. It's funny, not funny, but we had a serial killer here in Los Angeles, and he was a black male, and he actually worked for one of my clients who was the state of California. He worked for one of their divisions, and I can't say where because I can't discuss, clientele, but I have had several large government clientele over the years, before the whole cancer thing happened and I became disabled. And uh, he was actually located in one of their offices that I was at very many times, and many of my claims adjuster clients knew the guy. And um, he had he also had a criminal record for, I think it was rape or sexual assault, and he somehow passed the background for the state. Should have hired a PI. They didn't, and he got through. And then, due to the advances in DNA evidence, they were going to get the guy like years later, and he hurried up and retired like right before they sentenced him, so that his wife would come into his retirement and all of his benefits. And he had been, leading a very clean, crime-free life for years. But when he was a younger man, he was a serial killer, and he was in the same building that I've been to, visiting clients many times. I've worked at that building, and a lot of my clients, including some of my clients that were, I was very friendly with, were like, "Oh my God, I knew that guy. I worked in his department, and oh my God, he was a mass serial killer." And he, if I remember correctly, was a black man, and they're like, "Oh, he was such a nice man," and I guess he had turned his life around. But you do the crime, and you got to do the time. Uh, Christie's. April. I haven't watched too much coverage, so I wasn't sure if they use cadaver dogs. They usually do. I don't see why they wouldn't, especially with it being so high profile. New subscriber. Thank you, Christie's. From North Carolina. Welcome. I know they had the Border Patrol dogs when they first had the case because they were trying to sniff her trail, and they said they were, I guess, Pima County, either they don't have a canine division or their canine division isn't as elite as the Border Patrol. So, but they borrowed like the resources from Border Patrol, like or it was either the day after, either the second or the third, they brought in dogs, but that was just at the property to see if they could get a hint on where she had gone. But I don't know of any cadaver dogs that have been walking around the town, like in the desert. And she's in the middle of the desert. So, yeah, I'd like to know more if they've used cadaver dogs, but I don't think they have. But I could be wrong, because I'm not in Tucson. Kelly says Little had an author that came to see him for 2 straight years to get all of his information on paper and drawn when possible. John H. I was looking into Kayla and the son-in-law if they may have between them. I haven't heard about Kayla. Is she still in the pokey? Christie's. Dogs, not digs. Sorry, I got it. No problem, Christie's. Kelly. Aileen Wuornos was the one studied to create the movie monster that. Oh, okay. The Charlize Theron won an Oscar for. Okay. Yeah, I know who she is. That was the female serial killer that killed. She was, I guess, prostituting with men, and then she would kill the Johns. Is that the one? Okay. Memory glitch, since the 2019-2020 chemo. Christie's, thank you. Good to be here. That makes sense. A search dog may be able to track scent, but may not be trained for cadaver scent, from what I know. Yeah, there's different types of dogs. There's a lady I used to work with in the PI industry, and she has canines, but it's all like for drugs. And she's got like a booming business, and it's all her cases are like canine related and sniffing for drugs. No problem, Christie's. Kelly races yes regarding Aileen Wuornos. Okay, yeah, I know who that is. You might want to send me that later in the text or an email. Christie's. Be able, not be able. Got it. I got you. Vicky and Rico, what about using one of those people that can find them spiritually? Yeah, I've gone down that rabbit hole. And the last one I watched I watched like 3 spirit box readers. I watched the one from Australia, the lady in Australia. There's another one I watched. I think his name is Hope Paranormal. And then there was another one I watched with a woman, and I didn't know who she was. I never saw her before. And the last thing the spirit said was, tell them to stop. And they took that as meaning that Nancy was saying in spirit, like, tell my family to stop looking for me. Like, it's time to move on. And hopefully those spirit boxes are all BS, but that was sad because that was the lady that kept getting the name Jordan and she thought that was a person but yet she was asking for a location and they kept saying Jordan, Jordan. And I'm like, oh my God, I had just done the video on the guy from Jordan. And he's not a suspect, by the way. But yeah, you'll have to see some of the old videos about Zach Jahoub, also known as Sekon Hamad El Jacob of Amman, Jordan, who's somehow connected to the Range Rover that's connected to the dailies, who's connected to Kayla, who got herself arrested for crimes unrelated the night before all the search warrants went down. So yeah, some police departments, they will ask for psychics when they have no more leads. Kelly, even though both of those 2 convicted criminals are dead, they still seem to have a lot of information out there. Cases that are concluded are still often fascinating. Yeah, exactly, because they can still have other victims. And it's good to get as many people accounted for as possible. Well, it's been an hour. I appreciate everybody coming in. I hope you gave me a thumbs up. I hope you're following me, and, well, I hope you're subscribed to me. Let me get that right. Like I said, I took my bone pill yesterday. I take it once a week because of the treatment-induced osteoporosis, and that bone pill just, by the second day, it kind of hammers me. And I am still recovering from the heart procedure and the kidney procedure, so I've just felt a little like, ugh, today. I'm sure I'll feel a lot better tomorrow. What is a spirit box? That's a little device where people listen to radio signals, and the signals go by really, really fast. They're kind of scrambled, and then they take words from the different signals where the investigator asks the spirit box questions, and then words come out that are, but it's going through channels just very, very quick, and then they can get answers, but it's probably all BS. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy a spirit box. Kelly says those bone pills are a bitch. Yes, ma'am. I hate them. And sometimes I just, like if I have a surgery or a procedure or a medical appointment that week, I just say F it and I don't take it. Because it's not a life and death situation like my heart medication. I hate them. And I felt crappy all day. And every time I feel like, oh, why am I feeling so crappy today? And then I go, oh, I had my bone pill yesterday. Like, uh, but I've also been suffering from vertigo again since Sunday. But today, I think that's okay. The last couple of days, it's been a lot better. I've been able to sleep more. But sometimes I still get a little winded from my heart surgery because that's still healing too. And for the next several months, that can go in and out. So, some days I feel great with that, and some days I'm just like, I'm feeling a little, and then I get a little paranoid, like, oh my God, do I have AFib, and do I need to get out? I have a little device that's in my wallet where I can put my fingers on it and I can see if I'm back out of rhythm. But if I am, that means a trip to the hospital, and you know, it's just a crap show. I've got so many medical bills coming in, I have no way to pay for them. I'm just like, I'm at the end of my rope. Kelly Sullivan says, have a good night. You too, Kelly. Oh, hello, Cry Red. How are you? I'm just getting ready to wrap this up, but you can always watch me back on the replay. Hope you're doing well, Cry Red. Yeah, lots happening though the last few days. There's a lot of changes that are. It seems like they're kind of wrapping this up for a while, and the reporters are still able to come in, but they can't park, and the house is going to be turned over back to the family, and possibly Savannah Guthrie's headed back to New York. This is all just speculative, as Nanos would say. It's speculative. Just getting here, dang, no problem. As soon as I'm off, you just go back and watch the beginning. Gotta run. See you later. Same here, Kelly. Sant 1982. Hi, tried to chat yesterday, but chat broke in your entire show, even when others could chat. Yeah, it was a YouTube issue. I'm sorry. It wasn't on my end. Apparently, lots of other YouTube channels were suffering the same thing. Thanks for all the rewatching, Kelly. That helps. My mod Kelly, she's been watching all my videos. She's been binging my videos the last couple days, and it really helps with the hours because I'm not even halfway there on the accumulated hours that they calculate every day, and they go 365 days backwards. And I'm not even halfway there to be able to apply for monetization. So I'm kind of, first I was like, hey, maybe this could happen again, but I don't know. It's not looking so good right now. But thank you, Kelly. I appreciate you. Always. She's one of my biggest followers, everybody. If you had a channel, I would tell everybody to give you a subscribe, but she doesn't have a channel. Sant, did you catch Nancy Grace night before? Last about 911 call, same time as abduction. Is that the one regarding the car? We talked about that. I did not see the Nancy Grace the night before last, but there was a 911 call regarding a screaming woman in a car. We talked about that. If that's the same situation, I don't know because I didn't see that one. Cry Red, what is the clip onto your hat? That is my Wi-Fi mic. I saw it on your beanie last time too. How many hours do you need? I'll try to rewatch. I need 4,000 hours. Yeah, I'm not even quite halfway yet. I'm up to like 1,800 again because I got monetized only enough to have 2 small checks, and then I got nailed for something that they didn't really explain. And instead of just serving my 90-day suspension, I started deleting too many of my videos. And when I did that, instead of just privatizing them, is what I should have done. All my watch hours just went, and I was like, oh no, now I can't get those back. And yeah, just amateur rookie move. But I never did this to get monetized, but it would sure help me with the medical bills right now. But there are other ways to contribute. If anybody ever wants to contribute, just go to my main channel page. You know, somebody came to me on YouTube and said, hey, I was trying to look at your cancer GoFundMe. And I've had that since, well, my friend Lisa started that in 2019 when I had my chemo, and I didn't want it, but I'm now in hindsight, I'm so glad she did it or I wouldn't have survived. And I haven't gathered a lot of money because, I'm not famous like, James Vanderbeek, but um, it really helped, and every penny meant so much to me. And somebody had contacted me within the last month saying, hey, I was trying to look that up and the links aren't working. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean the links aren't working? So I went and I fixed it. And right after I did, I put it up on my Facebook to let people know, like, hey, the links weren't working. I put this back. And it was only one donation, but I got quite a substantial donation, which will pay some of these bills that are coming in, but not all of them. So it's on my main Facebook page, my GoFundMe, my Buy Me a Coffee, my my eBay store, my Whatnot store. If anybody wants to buy anything, you know, I'm not asking for money, but I'm not getting paid for clicks, views, and there's no way to send me a super chat or a super thanks. Now, before I got monetized, they had changed the monetization rules, saying if you had only 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours, that you could at least apply for the thank yous and the super chats. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit that mark first again, or if that's even an option for me, since I already made it to the full monetization and then it was very quickly taken away, which apparently is happening to the majority of the small YouTubers. They go, okay, congratulations, and then they're like, F you, and then when you ask what you did because you don't want to do it again, they're like, oh, we can't tell you because you might Try to circumvent the system. So it's all out there if anybody ever wants to contribute. Or even just, send me a hello by email or by mail. Cry Red says, "Oh, hi, Gonzalez twins. You're back. Welcome. Cry Red. I'll have to rewatch so I can see what's happening. I'm new to this channel, as you know." Yes, but thank you. Gonzalez Twins Life says, "I was watching anything." What were you watching? Oh, you were watching everything. Okay. What, my videos or just everything on this case in general? Kelly says, "Do you get 100% of GoFundMe?" No, but they don't take out too much. It's like a super chat that I don't even have right now. Super thanks, super chat. They take out 40%. Buy me a coffee. Like if you give me a $5 coffee, I think I get like $2 and change. Uh, there is a percentage because they have to run their website, but that's why I've also got the Zelle and the Cash App uh, because it's the full amount. But sometimes people just want to buy something really cool, and I'm telling everybody, if you're not signed up to Whatnot, sign up using my code and they'll give you $15. And somebody did that the other night. I don't know who. I didn't recognize their username, but somebody was watching me, I think on YouTube, because right after I said that, I got an email like, "Hey, somebody used your code and they just purchased something, but it wasn't from me," which is fine. They went to another store and they bought something. And as soon as that item arrives in their mailbox and they've accepted that they received their item, then Whatnot will put a $5 credit into my account. so, so maybe I can go buy myself something for $5. Or if I could get some more credits, maybe I could go to one of these gold or silver channels, like the Humble Stacker who was here earlier. He's got a terrific system going, and he's on Whatnot too. So a lot of the people in the gold community are in Whatnot. So if I got enough of those, people signing up to Whatnot and them getting $15 for free to spend it anywhere they want, whether it's my store or somebody else's store, and then I get, $5 in return after they've shopped. Now, a lot of people over the years have signed up using my code, but then they never buy anything from any store, so I don't get anything. And they don't get anything either because, well, they get the $15, but they never spend it. Like, if somebody sent me $15, like here's an Amazon gift card for $15. I'd spend that the day I got it because I get so many supplies. Like there's even groceries I get. I get rabbit supplies, cat supplies, bunny litter. You know how expensive that is? You know how much litter and hay she goes through? And she goes through more litter and food than the darn cat. Um, so to answer your question, no, I don't get 100% of the GoFundMe, but I get a pretty big percentage. I'd have to look that up to see exactly what their take is. Let's see. I watched everything. Oh, my video. Okay, thank you, twins. Uh, DJ Capri Rodriguez, I love you. You have value. Please stop this nonsense. What nonsense? Uh, not in the last 2 months. Humble hasn't. Oh, he hasn't done a whatnot? Is that what you're saying? Has he been so concentrating on building his? He just announced he got his YouTube monetization, which is awesome. So maybe he hasn't. See, I haven't been on Whatnot lately either. I did one time and it was just went because I don't have any inventory. The inventory's just gone to crap. Nobody can get the blue boxes right now. Kelly Ray. Okay, I'm going to go watch from the beginning of this video so I can get caught up. Okay, thanks, Kelly. Oh, so you're saying yes to he hasn't done a Whatnot lately? Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that sell the silver and the gold. Like, boy, if I could get enough Whatnot credits for that, I'd go and buy myself a little nugget or something. Like a little raw gold nugget, or buy myself a silver round or a silver bar to add to my silver stacking. Sent 1982. Inside Edition YouTube show has some 911 call as Nancy Grace. Did Nancy Guthrie kidnappers escape using tunnels? Oh, okay. I need to watch that. Yeah, apparently they don't have like a big drainage system like we have here. They have tunnels, but there's tunnels that go from Arizona south of the border into Mexico, but then there's also some type of storm drain tunnels. Are you talking about the storm drain tunnels? Donna McCoy says, right. Regarding what? So many people are messaging me right now. There's only 9 people here, but thank you for engaging in the chat. So I'm a little slow today, Donna. I'm sorry. I'm more awake and alert and feeling better at night than I do during the day. And especially a day after I took that stupid bone pill. Sant 1982 says yes. Oh, you mean regarding the tunnels that they're like are they storm drain tunnels, Sant 1982? Or are you talking about the tunnels that go into Mexico? Everything at this point is on the table. Everything is on the table. And even though the family supposedly they have been excluded from being suspects or people of interest, as far as I know, as of at least yesterday or yesterday evening, the sheriff's department still has custody of Annie and Tommaso's vehicle, calling it a piece of evidence in an active investigation. You take that however you'd like to take it. Donna McCoy says, try not today, satin, or what not about humble not being on. Okay, I'm confused, Donna. So he hasn't been on in a while, are you saying, on the whatnot? I'll have to look. When I'm not on, I take the app off my phone because if I don't take it off my phone, the notifications come so frequently that I can't even like navigate my internet and it drains my battery. So I should probably go on there later tonight to see if I got my $5 credit. $5. Oh, Sant says yes, the storm drain tunnels. Okay. Yeah, I think it was one of those types of tunnels that they found. Was it one of those tunnels that they found they found a black backpack? Okay, I'm looking at myself on my iPad and it's 30 seconds behind what I'm seeing on my phone. Okay, let me refresh that. Sometimes you have to refresh the chat. It's not in sync with the audio on the video. Donna McCoy, yes, not on, and the first was another streamer for whatnot. He's also a great guy. Oh, Humble? Yeah, Humble's a great guy. Are you talking about Humble? I would consider Humble a friend, and I've never even met him. But if I ever go to Seattle, I would love to meet him. He knows a lot about silver stacking. He's really into that. Christie's 8387. I am a complete night owl. Me too. And so was my dad. I feel so much better at night. Me too. But it ruins any plans I have when I have to do business hour things, like all my doctor's appointments or visiting an ailing parent who's hospitalized. Yes. Even as a PI, people would tell me over the years, especially when I was doing a lot of surveillance, you know, these surveillance guys that would do surveillance, 8 days a week would say, after a while you get used to it. You get used to getting up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And I don't care what people say, I never got used to it. And the older I got, and the more my health started to fail, and I think I had cancer long before I knew I had cancer, it was getting harder and harder and harder. And sometimes I would just go out there for, 8, 12-hour shifts with no sleep and just be miserable. And then I'd have to come home and, luckily I had my own business by then and people could work some of my gigs because I would have to go to bed for like a week and just sleep and sleep and sleep because it was killing me. Um, I'm not a day person. It's very, especially with everything that's happened to my health, it's very hard for me to get out of bed and I don't sleep well, but I feel like I'm going to die. Like, do I need to go to the hospital? I feel that bad in the morning. And I think because, you know, sometimes when I don't sleep well and I go to bed early and I haven't hydrated, I can't keep hydrating all night long because I'll be up using the restroom all night long, having to pee, you know, too much information here. But like during the day, that's when I eat and that's when I hydrate. And I don't eat big meals, I eat small meals. But without getting, I used to walk a lot and get a lot of activity out in the field. And so I've added, with all the medications and the surgeries and everything that's happened to me in old age. And, you know, I've got like about 30 pounds that I want to lose. And it's easier for me to do that in the summertime when it gets really hot because then I'm not really that hungry. But in the wintertime, and, you know, we had a lot of winter this year in LA, it makes you hungry. But I eat, you know, and they say don't eat late at night, you know, but that's when I eat, you know, because I'm a night owl and that's when my rhythm is working. My rhythm doesn't work in the day. Like when I got on this video today, I was like, I was going to turn it off in 10 minutes because I'm like, well, I don't feel so well right now. And then I realized, like, oh, it's that stupid bone pill. But yeah, I totally hear you. Wow, 32 thumbs up with only 11 people watching. That's incredible. Hello, Vicky Goggins. Is it Goggins or Goggins? I'm sorry, Vicky. Let's just call you Vicky. Hello back. Thanks for coming back. I'm sorry I keep drinking here, but I got my Arrowhead. I'm supposed to use this daily because cancer treatment also screws up the gut. And since I started drinking these like once a day, they're expensive as hell too, but it's really helped me. And it tastes good. And then I have just a little bit of the diet root beer left in this bottle. I opened it in the middle of the night, but then I stopped drinking it. So I have this and the Activia and the Arrowhead. And I just put it away before I started, but I have a little bit of my homemade smoothie. So I just gotta keep the liquids going, and I haven't eaten much today. I just had a waffle, that was it. Oh, Goggins. Is that right? Goggins? Goggins 1, Goggins 2. Is it Goggins? Type in a 1. Goggins, type in 2. Oh yeah, I just got off of 1. Okay. Goggins, Vicky Goggins, 8707. Welcome back. Thanks for clarifying that. I appreciate that. So, had anybody else heard the rumor that I heard today from my buddy Perez? Has anybody heard that about that Savannah may be leaving Arizona soon and going back to New York to join her husband and her children and eventually returning to the Today Show? Does the family know something that we don't? Christie's 8387. I'm so sorry. I've never had cancer, but I have about a dozen diagnoses: autoimmune and degenerative conditions, genetic mutations, on lots of medicine, and my chronic fatigue is worse than all my pain. Yes! I'm in the same boat. I do have some autoimmune issues too. I was diagnosed in my 20s with ME/CFS, but they just call it CFS back then. They didn't call it ME/CFS. And when I had my second bout in my 20s, my doctors told me then that to be careful of my future because they predicted by my 40s or 50s, they said you will either have MS, lupus, or worse. And mine was worse. But that runs in my family. Not breast cancer, but cancer. But I'm still here. And they're making progress every day with new cures, you know. I just wish the mainstream, you know, medical people and doctors and hospitals had access to all these new cures. You know, every morning I wake up, the first thing I do is turn on my internet, and there's always a new cure. But, you know, cures mean people aren't sick anymore, and it hurts the pharmaceutical companies. And the pharmaceutical companies, you know, Pfizer's been around for how many years? And they've never had a cure. That's because they would lose money if there was a cure. But you know what? There's other things that will come that they can cure. So let's get everybody You know, let's get everybody cured. How old am I? I'm too old. I'm too old. It's sad how old I am now. And I used to always look super young for my age. Like when I started my career, and I was young when I started my career, but people thought I was 12. I had a client once that it wasn't my client, but it was a company's client, and they called and they complained to an insurance company because they're like, "Why are you sending somebody that's only 12 years old?" Uh, oh, you're 67. Well, I'm not 67. I'm much younger than 67, but I'm still old, old as dirt. And if I just didn't have my fatigue, I think I'd be feeling pretty good. Then I don't think I would need my cane, but my legs are not very stable. I have a lot of neuropathy from the treatment. If they found a cure for cancer tomorrow, which I think would be wonderful, and I would hope that they would for everybody that's already had cancer or people that might get cancer in the future, my body would still be trash from all the treatment I've already had, but I'd still be very happy if they found a cure. But um, after I had my heart thing, one of the nurses at the hospital said, heart things are tricky, and you may just have to get used to that this is the new you. That kind of made me sad because I never walked with a cane with cancer, but now I have a cane. It's sad. And my friends, my very close friends that are like my family, they're at the zoo today, and I can't go join them because I wouldn't be able to walk that far. Vicky says, "Yes, sweetheart, I just got off the other channel with a woman that is doing the same thing we do about Nancy, and it's so ridiculous. This is with the sheriff's department, has been at the house, and it's just crazy." Donna says, "I'm going to be 58 in June, and I feel like I'm 97." Doesn't that suck? Because 58 is not very old. Hey, Casey, how are you doing? How you doing, my friend? And yes, Casey, I think I did send you an email saying I've got all your emails, but I've had so many, and I'm not ignoring any of you. I appreciate all the emails that have been sent. Thank you so much. Like I said, anybody can send an email to aprildavispi@gmail.com, or if you have, something that doesn't, it's not, something that you'd feel comfortable putting in an email, you can always send something to my business mailing address. It's on the main channel page. Uh, Casey says, "Great, thank you. Yes, it's fine. Thank you for understanding, Casey." I've just been trying to keep up with the comments, on the YouTube videos. There's been so many. And, I thanked her earlier. I know she's already out of the chat, but I can't thank my mod, Kelly Ray, enough. And there was another viewer here, Leanne, I think it was Navarez or Navarez, Leanne. Um, they've been binge watching my videos the last few days, and my watch hours have just, been climbing steadily since I started this series. I thought I'd only be doing the series a few days or a week. I didn't know this would be going on 4 weeks later. I mean, we're in the fourth week now. This is day 26. We're already in the fourth week. As of Sunday morning, we'll be in the fifth week of this case, which is just who would have ever believed that all this was going to happen and it was going to go on for this long. But I think because I'm on here and I'm doing my lives, daily, and I'm talking about things that I actually know about because of what I've done for a career, I think I'm right up my alley with this. And even though I'm not working this case and I'm not involved in it in any way professionally or, you know, officially or unofficially, I'm just reporting on it. But, my PI career, that's who I am. I'm April Davis PI. One time I talked to a boyfriend years ago and a good friend of mine, and I was like, maybe I should just sell the business and it's time to move on to something else. And they were like, "April, that's not what you do. That's who you are." Like they both talked me out of it and they're like, "Don't do it." Just, but now, because I'm disabled, there's hardly anything of the business left. So if I sold the business today, it would really have no value. Um, so I still go, "Oh, maybe I should have," but, I don't know. Vicky says, I am so sorry, and I just got a date for my vascular surgery, March 11th, and I just want you to know that I will keep you in my prayers. Thank you, Vicky. I will keep you in my prayers. Vascular surgery. That's interesting. If you want to explain, feel free to. Send me a message about that. I've often wondered if I need something like that. We all want her case resolved by now, maybe. Yeah, me too. I'd be happy to get on here and talk about other cases and other missing people. I want her to be found. Vicky says, since my pacemaker has been in last May 29th, I have trouble sleeping. You know, I had trouble sleeping when all my heart rhythm things started. And now even when my heart is beating right, I still basically just, when all these side effects started, I basically stopped sleeping. And it was more than me just being a night owl. My body, my whole rhythm is just upside down. And I have to get up, fairly early tomorrow because I have some plumbing repairs coming tomorrow, and one of the building maintenance guys that, does like the smoke alarms, and he's going to do some caulking, and then I have a plumbing company coming in the afternoon, but I have to be up early because they're like, oh, they'll be here between this window and this window. And so I have two separate people coming in that are very overdue to be here, but I had to cancel a bunch of stuff because I had been back in the hospital in November, December, and surgery January 2nd, surgery February 6th. So I'm like, before the next thing happens, God forbid, let's get some of these plumbing issues fixed, get the smoke alarm replaced, get the caulking in the bedroom done, because in the summertime, my place gets invaded by ants. I know it's gross, but that's California, and I need some trim and some caulking in the bedroom to prevent that. Sharon, hello, my name is Sharon Curry from Decatur, Illinois. I would like to be friends with you. Absolutely. Welcome, friend. You guys can also feel free to, send in a friend request at April Davis PI on Facebook, as long as you don't write anything inappropriate on my page. Feel free to join my Facebook as well. And if I know who you are, I'll friend you. If I don't know who you are, I'll be a little like, I don't know who this person is. So, you can send me a request and put a little IM message with it, like, oh, I'm watching your YouTube channel or something like that, and then I'll know who you are. Because it's getting to the point now with people in the gold community and people I went to school with, and, there's some people that I'm like, well, where's this person coming from? Are they coming from YouTube? Are they coming from Insta? Are they coming from whatnot? How do you know me? And I don't put anything private on there. I mean, I'm an open book, but I don't get too personal on there. You are from Donna's from Ottawa. Where is Ottawa, Illinois? Because my entire family, except for myself, is from Illinois. I spent a little time there as a child between our San Francisco and LA moves. I was 3 and I remember it like it was yesterday, and I didn't have anything to do. And I kept crying to my mom every day, like, when are we going to California? When are we going home? It was just a totally different life. And I was like, wow, I'm really different than how my parents were raised. And I remember being on that flight. I was 3 years old, and I remember a flight from Chicago O'Hare to LAX. And I remember having dinner with my mom, and there was a pilot from the Air Force sitting next to us. And I had a pink balloon from the flight attendant, and the pilot went and got me a pair of wings and said I was a good little flyer. And he got a pair of wings. So an Air Force pilot awarded me wings from the pilot of the plane. And I remember telling my mom, this is the best day of my life, because I was going home to California. We were on our way to LA. Vicky says, I was in AFib for over 20 years and I never knew how it felt to have a regular heartbeat, and they tried to shock me back into rhythm, but it didn't work. So it was a pacemaker. Oh, wow. I've had the cardio versions myself. I've had 2 of them that were in a surgery, and 2 of them separate from a surgery. So I'm at 4 cardioversions and 2 ablations. Wow, so the pacemaker gave you a regular rhythm. That's good to know. Yeah, I've also been told, this is a little off topic here, but for anybody that's going through a heart situation, there's a little device that's called the Watchman, and it's a heart implant. And if you can get that successfully, which Medicare does cover, um, that will preclude you from having to take blood thinners for the rest of your life. So that's something my doctor said we'll talk about it later because I've had enough surgeries for this year. I'm not looking for any surgeries, God forbid. Donna McCoy, have you heard of the Starved Rock murders? I live 10 minutes from there. I'm about 90 minutes southwest of Chicago, right on Route 80. Oh, okay. I'll have to look it up to see where you are in relation to where my family is from. Because I think my mom, where she lived, was about 2 hours from Chicago. Now, it would be a lot closer by the crow's flight. But from her town, I don't think the highways go in that immediate direction. I've not heard of the Starved Rock murders. You live 10 minutes from there. Huh. I'll have to research that. I've not heard of that. Is Ottawa, Illinois, is that a small town? Is that southwest? Are you like in farm country? Vicky, I am a COVID survivor and I came out of the hospital in a wheelchair and I couldn't walk and I had to go to therapy, but it didn't help, so they ran tests and found out that I had blockages. Oh, yeah. Did you have a stress test? I've had that and I passed that test. But they did tell me that that doesn't mean that you don't have blockages. But my stress test, I passed with flying colors, which was absolutely shocking. And they had to do the medically induced kind because they said I was too weak to be on the treadmill. Yeah, okay, wow. Yeah, there's so many people now that have the heart issues, and I wonder if it's just age or if it's all these vaccines that, we've taken. Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you're a survivor, Vicky, and welcome to my channel. See, we're all going through something here. All of us. So thanks for understanding when I mentioned to the audience earlier, like, I had my bone pill yesterday, which I've had to take since my cancer recovery. And that pill just, as Kelly Ray put, my mod put in the chat, she said, those bone pills are a bitch. And apparently there is a way to get off of them, but I would have to go in for like shots every 6 months. And if that didn't work, then I would have to get infusions, which is like chemo when they say infusions. And I don't want to ever walk through that door again. That would just throw me right over the deep end if I had to go in to the chemo room for some kind of infusion. They've got this new machine that is really easy, like sitting in a recliner. For what? For like infusions? Or for your blockages? In relation to what, Vicky? They've got the new machine. Oh no, and I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I'm still here. I created a new hashtag. It'll probably spread all over the world now. No, I'm kidding. I take the credit for it. I started a hashtag. Hashtag not dead yet. And I don't say that in a negative way. I'm not trying to bring that energy on, but I'm trying to say it in a positive way. Hashtag not dead yet. See, we've all got something. And it helps to know I don't like to see people sick. I get more upset about people being sick than I get upset when people die, because when people die, unless they die unexpectedly and they've been sick, they're no longer suffering anymore. So you have to put a relative into hospice, but they're going to be better off, and the end is near. They'll be better off. You have to think of it that way. But for those of us that are still here, it takes a village. Let's support everybody. Everybody support each other. Because I've lost a lot of people since I've survived the cancer. A lot. And some days I feel like I'm doing it all on my own. But I have my little lovelies, one of which is still in the timeout in the bedroom, but I haven't heard her, so she must have gone to sleep. I feel so bad, but well, if there's anything new that comes up with the Nancy Guthrie case, something big breaks, I'll go back on right away. As soon as I go off, I like to recharge my mics and charge up my iPad and my phone, and just in case I have to go back on. Vicky Goggins, I'm sorry, they gave me some dye in my veins and waited 15 minutes and sit in that recliner and it runs through the machine and it's fast. Yeah, I had to go, like, they had to take pictures. It was like a CAT scan, but your head's sticking out. Ugh. And then they take you in another room and they put that dye in and you feel like you're going to die for about 5 minutes. It's horrible. And then they wheel you back into that machine where they see how well your heart is pumping, and then you get like a massive migraine during that test. That's what I remember the most, is the massive migraine. Medium town, says Donna McCoy. Oh, Ottawa, okay. Vicky, okay, sweetheart, and I will keep everyone posted and in my prayers too. Thank you. I pray for all of you guys that are going through things. And I don't think Hearts is still here. She had to go mod another chat, but she mentioned that her mother was going to enter hospice next week. So let's say a prayer for Hearts of Gold prospecting. Let's keep praying for the Guthrie family. Let's hope that Nancy's found, even if the end has happened. Let's get her recovered. Let the Guthrie family be able to eventually, somehow try to move on, try to move forward. I'm just not having good vibes about this. I gotta go for now. Love you all. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you've hit that thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed. You guys, can you be like Kelly and Leanne and binge watch my videos for a while, or just have them playing in the background on loop? uh, just try to get my watch hours up. I gotta get back to some semblance of normal here. Even if I could just, I don't know if they're gonna make me go back to the 4,000 or if I could possibly do the smaller monetization at 3,000. So I don't know. I never did this for the money, but it would sure help with the medical bills if I could ever get remonetized. Heck, even if I could just help me buy groceries while I'm using the grocery money to pay off all these surgeries, and you know, God, our health system in this country is absolutely broken. But we could do a whole series about that. Let's not even get into that today. Donna, I'll do it. I did that for Humble too. Oh, thank you, Donna. I'm gonna look up Ottawa, Illinois, see if you were anywhere near where my family grew up. Apparently, I still have a lot of relatives that I've never even met in Illinois. I mean, everybody was from there. My parents, my cousins, my aunt, my uncle, great grandparents who I never knew in my lifetime. And our family goes back to the very early, you know, years in the United States. So they've been here for centuries. Yeah, I was sort of the odd person out in the family, not being from there. It's funny, I met some of the cousins years later and they were like, I hate to tell you this, I don't want you to feel bad, but you don't look like anybody in the family. And I'm like, no, that's okay. Donna McCoy says there's Davises there. Yeah, we could be related to some of them. I think the Davises, they were in Beardstown and Pekin. And on my mom's side, they were from Peoria. I only have two cousins, and neither one of them live in Illinois anymore. And I didn't even have any bio aunts. I just had an aunt by marriage, and she was from there too, but she's passed away. The parents were passed away. The grandparents were passed away. My only uncle's passed away. My aunt by marriage has passed away. And there's two cousins, and they're in other states. But I think my grandparents, at least on my Davis side of the family, they all came from big families. So there's probably lots of distant cousins. Well, we're down to 9 people. It's been a long time. I thank everybody for watching, and like I said, if anything breaks on this, I'll be happy to go back on the air. So I'm gonna get my mics and back into the charger, and I'm gonna watch some of the other broadcasts and see if anything has breaking. Hey, Michelle, we're just getting ready to go off the air. I've been on here. Let's see, it says 106 minutes. Oh my God, I only plan to be on for like 15 minutes, 30 max. So, gosh, the time just goes by so fast with all you guys sending the messages. But thanks for any of those people that are, binge watching the videos. If you're new here, Michelle, please, I hope you're subscribed. I hope I have a thumbs up from all you guys. And we're going to keep reporting this case as long as we can. And we're going to send good vibes to the Guthrie family. Have a good evening, April. Thank you, Vicki. You too. I love you all. And have a good evening.